Okay, so if you guys have dabbled in writing HTML or taken any code school courses, Treehouse, um, they miss a big thing. Any of my college classes miss this big thing. And it's this diagram right behind me. It's how the internet works. I won't tell you how long it took me to figure this out. But I felt really stupid for a long time because this was like the secret that everyone should know, but somehow I didn't know. So I'm going to give you the secret early on before we even start seeing HTML. So you're going to make files, HTML files, and then you hope that that's a website at the end of it, right? That people can access. But how do you get those files from your computer to the internet? Well, my friends, I will explain it to you in this here diagram. Okay, so right here, I'm being all weathermanish. This is a browser. In that browser, you type a domain name like cats.com or catthegeek.com or YouTube or Facebook, and it says, hey. Do you like how I'm trying to figure this out? Okay, so it says, hey, whoever hosts Facebook, I want to look at you. And so this is what the request is, right? It says, hey, web server, can I look at you? And it says, sure, here's what I look like and all the files that you need to look at me. So this is the internet, right here, this little cloud thing. It's the internet. And you're accessing files that are on a web server. Does that make sense? So all that I'm doing when I type an address in the URL of my browser is saying, hey, dear web server that hosts that, can I look at you? And it says, sure. And it sends it back. So the internet is just the infrastructure that it takes to make all of that work. And we won't go into that because you don't care. You just want to know, if I ask the web server for something, show it to me, right? So when you make your own website, what you're doing is putting the files that you make on your machine onto a web server. So when Joe Schmo says, hey, I want to look at Cat the Geek, those files are on a web server and he gets them served back. So that's what you're doing, and that's how the internet works. And when we talk about the cloud, we're talking about this, the response and the request system accessing web server. So if you use something like iCloud or Dropbox, all they're doing is hosting their files on a web server so that you, from your browser, whether it's on a phone or on a computer, can say, hey, web server, can I have my files? And it says, sure. It's just hosted on a web server that's out, and you're accessing it through the cloud. So that's what the cloud means, and now you know. So, okay, back to the point. If you have files on your computer, you're like, hey, here they are. This is your files on your computer. How do you like that drawing? I'm an illustrator. And you're like, okay, I have these HTML files, and my website's ready to go. How do I put them out there? So you'll have a web server, and you say, hey, through FTP or WebDAV, or you can tell I'm really good at this. Through FTP or WebDAV or whatever, you'll put these files onto a web server. And I'll show you how to do that in a later, but I just want you to understand the concept that, like, they're here, I'm putting them onto a web server so that someone from their browser can ask for it, and the web server will respond with the details. So that's how the internet works. I'll also put some links to some more detailed ones if you want to dive into it. Feel free to email me questions. I know this is a really quick rundown, but this will be very valuable as I start to really show you how to make a website. So that's today's lesson, how the internet works.